Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be going over the Gems of War event of Assassin's Creed, in which the Royal Assassin is added to the game. I'm also briefly going to be going over right at the beginning of version 5.2, which came in about a week ago to Gems of War. However, the main change that it ended up making does not actually occur until tomorrow. So what that is if we go over here, you will notice an incoming arena event. Of course, this isn't something that we had before. This is the Arena of Valor. This is a new feature that has just recently been added. Basically, they mostly did an arena rework in the most recent patch, and it changed a couple things. One is you no longer have a hero with your weapon. You now have to draft an epic troop. You can actually see what your options are as you're drafting. Right here, I'll just go and randomly draft a bunch of stuff. But as you can see, it does go up to an epic. Main thing you want to look for when you're drafting, though, is boost ratio. Anything that has a really good boost ratio, generally going to be a good idea to consider picking up. You can still move your order around as normal. One interesting weird thing that they added is a literal pay to win. If you have VIP 4, you actually start with 1 win, quite literally. Kind of funny that you're literally paying for a win. I think it's $70 if you paid that much or more into the game. You get it. And it helps you cycle through the rewards a little bit quicker. It's technically 10 trophies per battle now, if you happen to have that, because as you can see, here are the new rewards here. Not really too much of a difference here, mostly just a lot more trophies. However, the main difference now is Valor event. So every about a month, it's going to be about the same interval as a Vault event weekend, which is also this weekend, by the way. Look out for that. But this Wednesday, tomorrow, will be our first ever Valor event. Basically, you get Valor based on how many wins you do. Ideally, you'll want to get 6 wins, which gives 50 Valor, the same as the amount of trophies. Not all of them match up perfectly with trophies, but it just happens to for the 6-win streak, which is generally what you're going to be hitting. And basically, you have to accumulate a bunch of Valor, and you'll get a bunch of loot. It tends to, or seems to cycle in some similar way to that of the Vault event. If it has a diminishing return, we're not 100% certain on that yet. I'd assume there might be, because the rewards are pretty decent. As far as the rewards, it'll cycle through 5 rewards and then repeat back over itself. The first reward is 3 gem keys, which is not too bad. The second reward is 1,000 jewel shards, which is basically the equivalent of 10 diamonds, or 20 of the colored things, if I'm not mistaken. So there's that, which is pretty decent if you need diamonds, because of course diamonds would be the main thing you'd use those for. The third reward is 2 event keys, so if anyone's still been struggling to get a nice hoard of event keys, this event, depending on how much you can actually farm, might be a good way to go and get some of them. And the most interesting one, 4 for reward, is 60 writs. Writs is the crafting material used to create deeds. This is going to be rather interesting, as this will be the first time ever that it is infinitely farmable. These are writs. And I don't think they added this patch to this thing, so you do have to go all the way back to your hero menu to see what your total is. Yeah, writs are used to craft normal deeds as well as imperial deeds. As far as which one you would use it on, I'm pretty sure it's mostly Imperial deeds for how many are needed in the current state of the game. And it will give 60 every single time, which will work towards the 1,000 you need per Imperial deed. How infinitely farmable this is going to be, how quickly if you keep getting win streak, we're not exactly sure yet. We'll find out tomorrow. But that could potentially be really good. The capability of infinitely farming deeds for the first time ever. So we'll have to see how that pans out. Keep in mind, it will normally occur on a weekend event. I'm not sure how often they're going to be doing a weekday event for it, where only it lasts for 1 day. Like tomorrow, it's only going to be for tomorrow and only Wednesday. However, there is a weekend one, the weekend of Halloween, actually, whatever weekend that falls on. That entire weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, is a 3-day version of this. However, this very first one will only be a 1-day version, so do be aware of that. Other than that, the final reward is also pretty decent, a Orb of Chaos. So that could be a blue orb, a purple orb, or a useless orb. Those are pretty much options. Well, I guess orange is kind of still good if you're progressing through the game, but obviously green is always useless. Doesn't matter what point you are. A minor orange is always going to be useless. I mean, a minor green is always going to be useless. But yeah, that's pretty much it. 3 gem keys, then 1,000 jewel shards, then 2 event keys, then 60 writs, which are used to craft deeds, and then 1 orb of chaos, and then it cycles back to the 3 gem keys, and then you cycle through them again, probably at a diminishing return, but we'll have to see. And then you just keep doing arena, and you keep getting points. So it should be interesting to see how that pans out. And that was pretty much the main thing that was added in the most recent patch. One other thing to mention is actually the bigger feature that was technically added, especially if you don't have any intention to ever play the arena. but they ended up making it so you can actually quick cast now. Before on PC, mobile, and Switch, not sure if the Switch got the update yet though, but previously you used to have a weird slowdown whenever you were hovering already over a card. For example, if we click on this right at the beginning of the battle, it would slow down. However, it doesn't do that anymore, and you can actually click on it, immediately cast it, and go right in. This particularly works very well with a Leprechaun Rowan, as well as minion powers. However, this is applicable to literally every single battle because you can simply click your full mana troop on the enemy's turn as they're doing their turn and immediately be able to cast. This shaves off at least a second from every single battle, depending on how long the battle goes, particularly multiple seconds. And this is obviously very big given that, for example, with something like this team, it wins in about like 12 seconds or so. So to be able to shave off a whole entire second is pretty drastic to the rate at which you can win. It is actually consistent to win 50 chaos shards, but it's actually consistent to win once every 4 minutes. 4 times per minute, I mean, which is pretty consistent. It can do around 4 to 5 per minute, whereas before it was closer to like a 3.5 to 4.5 or so. So it's definitely got a bit of an increase there, and it can definitely help with various farming. Anyways, let's go to the other things. We'll just kill this real quick. But yeah, they removed that delay. Before it would have like a really slow 1 times delay. And that's been ever since they added 4 times speed. So this is pretty much the biggest speed increase they've ever done since 4 times speed. Theoretically, this could have been the speed when 4 times speed came out, but there was a glitch that has been around for like 2 years now, or 3 years, however long it's been, and it just got fixed. So yeah, it took them a little while, but they finally got around to it, and is probably the best thing that they added this patch, other than this new game mode thing that's happening tomorrow. Anyways. Though realistically, you're going to be using the other thing more. Let's go and go over to troop and all the normal stuff. So, as far as the Royal Assassin, it's completely useless. It does come with brown, blue arcanes if you need those, though. As far as the troop, it deals damage to an enemy. Deal 10 more for each poison, disease, and stun, or curse, on the enemy, meaning that you could potentially hit for 40 additional damage. This is obviously pretty underwhelming, even if it hit for 40 additional damage every single time. That amount of damage later in the game is completely pointless. This would only be good in Arena, and probably only Arena, and even then, how are you going to poison, disease, stun, and curse consistently in Arena? Yeah, it's probably never going to be used. It has stealthy and 75% mana start. However, that doesn't make it viable. Even if it had Empower, I highly doubt this thing would bother getting used. So it's basically dead content. However, one interesting thing that this troop has caused, though, is Mist of Scales is the first 21-star kingdom in the game. This isn't too relevant compared to 20 stars. However, 21 stars does give you a little bit of extra tribute reward. Of course, tribute chance being a little bit better. But yeah, it's technically the first legendary star to ever be added to a kingdom, so that's pretty cool. However, relatively underwhelming, but technically the first 21-star kingdom. So there's that. Other than that, 10% to all Mist of Scales this week, as well as 10% to all Nagas, which means almost 20% to all Mist of Scales, because almost everything there is a Naga. I think like 80 to 90%. And other than that, if you want to use this useless troop, you do gain 400 additional gold if you just plop it on your team on Explore. So depending on the team that you're using, it might be worth considering for your little bit extra gold that you're going to be getting. This is particularly noteworthy in something like the Vault event, since you're probably going to be doing a lot of low-level Explore grinding, and you can get a little bit of additional gold by doing so. Anyways, as far as event queue drop table, probably worth skipping this week. It is Mist of Scales. Also, I really wish clicking on that would bring you to the full drop table of everything. I'm not sure why it doesn't. That'd be a nice addition. But if we go over to Mist of Scales over here, and then click Show All if you don't already own everything. This will show everything that exists underneath the thing and what I wish it would go to if you just clicked on it. As far as drops, they're pretty much all useless. The only somewhat good one that's used occasionally is Marilith, wherever she is. Where are you, Marilith? I know you're here. But Marilith's here. It's used mostly for mana accumulation. It's very similar to that of, what's his name? Of Thrall, except she's 12 mana cost instead of 6. However, she does do a little bit of damage, and she does do a little bit of attack gain, both of which are relatively irrelevant compared to the other one. And she does use double color, so it's a little bit easier to gain her manas, or, to fill the pools with 2 colors rather than 1. And aside from that, it also has the link similar to that of Thrall to get its mana up a little bit better. It's basically the alternative Thrall. Obviously, for its double mana cost, it's not used as much compared to Thrall, but it's essentially a Thrall and has 20% extra stats this week, which allows it to destroy even more gems. Keep in mind, every single thing that you see here is available, except for all the ones that say Dark Pits. All the ones from Dark Pits are from the Dark Pit faction, but aside from that, every other thing that you see here is available in the event key drop table. But yeah, Marilith's the only thing that you might want to consider. It's useful for a couple of event things this week, but overall, probably not that worth getting. And the only other things you might be targeting is the Mythic to try to get the 21 stars, or, just to get stars up. However, this is also not too relevant, just because they're pretty bad. You'd pretty much only get it for the bonus, so unless you just really wanted that bonus, that's probably the only time you'd bother using event keys. If you desperately need a Merilith, or if you desperately just want to get the bonus for having a mythic for the kingdom. But yeah, Reality's just a poison, and Mombasera was pretty much dead content the second she came in. It's a weird, like, damage source, but she doesn't have any board control whatsoever, so she's normally outdone by other damage sources. Even Tina 9000, I feel like, ends up working better, way better than Mombasera does, which is a relatively similar premise to her, except true damage rather than physical damage. Anyways, as far as the World Lore event, of course, we're in Chapter 2 of the thing. We didn't get anything too good, though it is possible to do it today. It wasn't possible yesterday unless you wasted 100 gems, though you could do it that way. But we do get this new little pet. Nothing really too relevant that comes out this week, though. We get a little bit of, like, 5 extra HP, but yeah, nothing yet. The most interesting thing will probably be once we get 2 of these purple deed books, which will be by, if you have the pass, by the 5th week. So it'll be interesting to see when that ends up coming around, because that's probably the first good reward that actually comes out. The first deed book, which is free, actually. You don't even need the pass. You actually get 2 on the free side as well, which is enough to go upgrade a Purple Kingdom. I'll probably be doing it to Golvania because it's the best farming kingdom at the moment. However, obviously you could also put into one of the Magic Kingdoms, which would also be a good investment, but it takes so many resources that they're probably not going to be maxed anytime soon, so I'll put into Golvania for now just because it's long term. It'll be a very long time before those Magic Kingdoms get a +1 magic. Very, very long time. But yeah, by the 5th week, if you have the pass, it actually has the second book. And I think it's by like the 8th or 9th week if you're going free to play. You still get the second book. And you get 4 total if you bought the bigger pass. Anyways, so let's go over the invasion event. So as far as this, well, you want to go, or why did I say invasion event? I mean the World Lore event. So with this, I think the strategy here is just go for highest rarity. It has a really weird scoring system this week, but if you just do highest rarity each time, I think you're going to be perfectly fine. So right here, we'll probably want to take the double Viper. It forces you to have to do the mythic battle each time. One of them is better than the other one. However, you have no choice on which one appears, so you just have to take it. But basically, you do 4 battles. You get a mythic battle of either Mombasera or Yali, which also you need 1 Mombasera kill for the event this week, for the campaign. So do be mindful of that. And yeah, you can just do it like that and just kind of cycle through the highest rarities. It'll force you to do a battle, do 4 battles again at highest rarity, and keep repeating that. Level does matter, so make sure to take highest level every single time. This is an event where level does determine how much loot you get, so make sure to focus on whatever highest level is available. And that's pretty much how you want to play out this event. Other than that, we have ourselves the various game modes throughout the week. So we got quite a bit going on today. Today we have the Faction Assault for Crypt. This does come with the Crypt weapon, which is kind of like a Life and Death. Life and Death will be available in a couple weeks. However, if you're looking for a bit of an alternative prior to then, you do have the Secrets of the Crypt. It's nowhere near as good as Life and Death. However, it is a temporary alternative if you want to consider getting it before then. And not to mention, this thing won't be available for several months after the fact. So, and it's only available today. So maybe worth considering, though Life and Death in a few weeks, probably the better option overall. So you might just want to wait out for that. But it's a somewhat similar premise as a double lifesteal thing. However, it doesn't have many of the other aspects that end up making Life and Death good, unfortunately. But Faction's pretty straightforward, quite literally. Now you can take a straight path. It also has an instant kill troop, which allows it to peer Faction a little bit easier. So you probably just want to take it for free rewards, as this is a faction where you could get it done for free without actually needing to potion it. I'm pretty sure some people will still go and potion it, though, like almost the entire leaderboard. But if you have the resources and you want to get it done, you can. However, it is one of them that is doable without it. However, it is exceedingly luck-based, and most people probably don't want to deal with it. This Wednesday, we're going to be getting the Snake, which gives the Naga bonus. So if you need that, you'll be able to get more copies then. On Thursday, we have ourselves the Assassin Hero class. Assassin Hero class is actually a pretty good hero class, but it's so luck-based that it's normally not used. It has the most amount of instant kills in the entire game, having 10% instant kill whenever it does a skull hit, and a 7% instant kill whenever something dies, and both of those do stack. So you can do both simultaneously. Also, there's a 7% instant kill when you have the class fully maxed. Does stack with itself, so you can 7% instant kill into 7% instant kill into 7% instant kill. However, obviously, the chance of all these things happening is very exceedingly slim, and for this reason is generally not used. It also has a random survivability technique in which has 30% dodge, so it's pretty much just rolling the dice every single time it does anything or gets hit. So it's exceedingly luck-based. It either has 2 modes. Either auto wins near instantly, or it dies. So it's normally pretty inconsistent and is generally not used for its high inconsistency. However, it is not actually a bad hero class. I believe it also still has the highest base attack of any hero class as well, which isn't relevant too often, but it's still a thing. especially in early game, if you're mostly taking skulls and you don't have enough to really have like barrier or anything yet. Worth considering due to its a little bit higher base attack, since you're mostly combating in like below level 200 or so with skulls. So can be a little bit more valuable there. Though in having higher attack, it does have lower durability though. But yeah, there's that. And Friday, we don't have anything new going on. However, as I mentioned earlier in the video, we do have a Vault event. So Vault events, of course, really good to go grind and explore. You can also do it in PvP. And basically just find a bunch of gnomes. You have a higher chance of finding gnomes. You also have a higher chance of finding vault keys. A lot of these loots that you get from them are very viable. And there's also a pity timer. So just for finding gnomes, even if you're not getting any good drops, you'll still be getting some amount of vault keys. And I'm going to be hunting for that epic vault key because, gosh, we still haven't gotten it yet. We're way below drop rate. But we will get it eventually. And that's what we have. And of course, I kind of skipped over it a bit, but Wednesday, we also, as I mentioned earlier, have the arena event. That will be happening tomorrow. As soon as Wednesday gets here, in 13 hours, 8 minutes as of this recording, which probably by the time this is up will be like 12 hours or so. We'll have the arena event, and we'll definitely go over that. We'll probably have a midday stream as well, going over it a little bit. Probably not too long, but we'll definitely do a little bit of farming there then, and probably a lot more at night, of course. Try getting a bit in, because of course it's only for 1 day, so it's more of just like a taste of what it will be like. Not sure how often they'll do the 1 day method. Obviously the 3 day method is much more favorable, given that it doesn't feel as rushed. Not to mention a lot of people might not have free time randomly on a Wednesday. Anyways, as far as Soulforge this week, everything is useless, skip it. But actually, that's not true. There's actually one thing I really should mention here. Red Summoning Stone has Shade of Karandera. As many of you know, Shade of Karandera was in the paid side of the Battle Pass-like system that they had for Season 1 of Gems of War for the first ever campaign. So if you didn't end up picking that up, you have a 1 in 8 chance every time you do a Summoning Stone here. You can still find them on Glory Gem Guild and VIP keys as well. However, if you want to find them by alternative means without burning through your keys, you have 1 in 8 chance here. And you do have one other good drop that can occur while you're doing so as well. Merlines, that's pretty solid. But of course, obviously, if you're opening these, you're probably doing it for Shade of Karandera. I wouldn't go too overkill with it, but if you want to go for a few until you get like a single copy, you can. Otherwise, just go for keys and you'll eventually get a drop of him. However, your chance is theoretically higher to do it with this than you would off of a random key due to the amount of epic troops that exist within the game. And this, you have a 1/8 chance. So, worth considering if you need a Shade of Karandera just to have a copy of it. You can, of course, try maxing them out as well. However, I would not advise it because the amount of these things you would need is absurdly high. Because every single 8 would potentially give you 1 if you get exactly on drop rate. Could take more, but that's going to be 400 per, and you need 16 of them to max it. So that is not advised. That's what is that then? 16 times 400 math. How does that work? That is 66,400. Did I do math right? I'm not sure, but somewhere's absurdly high, and you probably don't want to do it that way. Probably better off with keys. But if you only need 1. Throwing 400 for it's not too bad, though do keep in mind it could take more, it could take less, so do them one at a time, because you might get it sooner, or it could take more. But as far as mythics, yeah, just ignore them. Nothing's particularly good here unless you need it for a kingdom upgrade. Scorpius is pretty much completely fallen off. However, if you do want to get Scorpius or Yali combo for whatever reason, it is technically possible. Though do keep in mind no Explorer currently has immune to poison anymore. I mean, no immune to poison, I mean. However, Scorpius is available in Soulforge, and Yali is available in event keys. I wouldn't really advise getting that in the current state of the game. However, the combo is there if you are looking for it. It's still somewhat okay against teams that don't have any immune to poison. However, I'd probably skip on it. They're becoming increasingly less meta, so probably just not worth going for if you don't already have it. Anyways, unless you just need it for kingdom upgrades. Anyways, Aquaticus, probably the best thing here as far as mythics. I don't really care for it, though, because if it gets denied on blue, which is very common if you're using this on, like, Blue Guild War or something, it's going to be a lot less effective. And I feel like it just gets countered too much to be viable compared to many of the other Infernus-like troops that have this similar kind of splash damage thing. And overall, I'd probably skip it. It also has a 4-time Submerge, and this is very rarely useful. Not to mention Hero Class can normally cover it enough that you don't really need it. But yeah, overall, Soulforge probably worth skipping other than that little red summoning stone thing. As far as weapons, don't forget to get your Dagger of Scales. Always like keeping them for the weekly video. Of course, we've been getting that from a couple patches ago where they added basically a new weapon to every single kingdom, and that's still occurring because obviously we haven't cycled through every single kingdom. That takes like a year. It takes so long to cycle through every kingdom. But we will eventually cycle through every single kingdom and have all those weapons eventually. Obviously, these are useless weapons, but if you're going for completionist's sake, don't forget to go grab them. them. Other than that, Cobra's Curse and Medusa's Tome are pretty much just Naga boost items. They're relatively useless in most situations. Secrets of the Crypt is available only today, this Tuesday, during the faction event. You can get it either through gems from the event, which I think it costs 410 or something around there, and you can craft it for this amount of resources. Though do keep in mind, again, it is only obtainable today, so if you want to get it, get it. Though do keep in mind it does have some overlap with Life and Death, and you definitely want to make sure you can afford Life and Death, which will cost about the same thing, but with brown and purple instead of red and purple. So if you're a little low on resources, do be mindful of that. Also, that's enough red to go get the Carandare if you don't have a copy. Other than that, was that the last thing? I think that was the last thing. Yeah, never mind, there isn't any other. So overall, pretty lackluster across the entire Soulforge. Anyways, let's go wrap it up with some teams. Also, keep in mind, if you need the Mamba Sierra kill for the campaign, people do set it on defend, so if you want to repick spam, depending on what point you are in the game, you might be better off with the World Lore event. However, if you're later in the game, you could probably find a billion Mamba Sierras in PvP. But anyways, let's go over team. So, Ward Quick Kill. So this is surprisingly effective. Black Manacle with triple Finessa. Finessa has two really big benefits. Keep in mind they have extra magic damage to use during the Ward Lore event this week. And this ends up doing damage based on a full AoE. So you can have this Black Manacle for that. However, this thing ends up getting boosted a lot because it ends up doing damage to an enemy equal to their attack. So as they get stronger, you're also doing more damage. It gives a bunch of life to your entire team and is boost ratioed based on how much damage you dealt. Keep in mind, the amount of damage you're dealing is twice as much, basically, or, however much you have bonus for. So if you have something like 200% or 320% extra magic damage because of the metals, I'm pretty sure that does boost ratio the life as well. So you're just getting absurdly good damage and absurdly good life gain due to the combination of the two. So it ends up working out really well. You could probably run this the entire time. It is a little bit slow because you don't have proper mana accumulation, but Archmagus into Black Manacle's goals still gets it pretty quick. Other than that, as far as the other alternative, you can pretty much just Queen Titania spam. Still uses Archmagus to help feed the Queen Titanias, and you still have a Finessa here for HP backup. It also gives us an Empower poke, so kind of good with that since it already has Empower and already has full mana. But basically, you just go for Queen Titania, spam. You have Essence of Evil to get rid of whatever might be very useful on the opposing team. You can also use it to entangle first slot if you want. You can go for the safer hero class of like Titan or Sentinel or something similar. However, Archmagus not only has half mana start, but does give a lot of additional purple, potentially +3 at level 70, +1 from its trait, +1 from its perk, and +2 from its trait, from its final trait. And then the other one on 70 right there. And yeah, +3 purple, pretty potent, and it does stack with the banner, so it's +5 purple. And obviously you get mana pretty quick. If you surge, that'll be an 8, so you can 2-turn Queen Titania with double purple surge, which is obviously pretty good. And she has Faerie Fire, and that does stack as well fully with the extra damage. So let's say you were doing, let's go make the math easy. Let's say you were doing 50 damage, and you had a 4 times multiplier, let's just say, for simplicity's sake. So that'd be actually 3 times multiplier, because the multiplier actually increases on top of your base. So if you had a 3 times multiplier and you did 50 damage, you would do 200 damage. If they were Faerie Fired, you would then do 300 damage. So it does fully stack with all your bonuses, and it applies basically just an extra 50%. So if you were to hit like 500 after all your bonuses, the Faerie Fire for 50% extra would bring it all the way to 750. So it does fully stack with all the additional damage you get. So this thing's going to be just a complete powerhouse, and it hits all enemies as well, assuming they're not submerged. And I don't believe there's any way they can submerge in this event. So, and even if there is, it shouldn't matter too much. But yeah, it's absurdly good damage. And if you really need to, Finessa can actually clean up if they did have submerge. I don't believe they do though. But Essence of Evil, Finessa, you'll have options for it, that's for sure. Anyways, other than that, as far as the Crypt, you can run standard Divinish Ball of Quillen. This isn't standard though. You would run Rope Dart there. I show it with Mang just so it can upscale a bit better. But obviously you could put Rope Dart there. That's the standard way that you tend to run this team. But yeah, Divinish Ball of Quillen Moon Rabbit combo is actually accessible. It's a purple-red restriction. So this team is 100% possible for that. Even the weapon's technically within the category, even though it doesn't have to be. And you can run that down the entire event, starting all the way from the beginning, ideally with Rope Dart, and then switching into Mang for the later sections. And yeah, it definitely can run through the whole thing. Alternatively, super cheap. You can go with the Jar of Eyes from a couple weeks ago with a bunch of Gargoyle. If you don't have Jar of Eyes, run basically any mana accumulation option there. Essence of Evil is pretty decent. Also, Essence of Evil, I'm showing it with a couple teams here. It's obtained from 250 wins off a Plague Lord hero class, which is from Darkstone if you don't currently have it. Highly advised to get. It's one of the few best hero weapons in the game. Other than that, for Pure Faction, this can be done without potions or with potions. Strategy with potions might be slightly different, But either way, you can easily kill it out with 3 Lady Miranas into Graveseer. Might seem a little bit weird that you're feeding purple into a non-existent purple on your team. However, the main reason for this is you need it for boost ratio. Well, you need it for 2 reasons. One is you need it for boost ratio for Lady Mirana, because she gets a 2% additional instant kill chance per purple. So if you have 10 purple on the board, that's 30% chance to instant kill. But the other reason is to deny the enemy's Graveseer. The enemy has a really high true damaging troop that needs purple, and you generally want to deny it out because depending on your stats, it can actually one-shot you, and regardless of your stats, it should be able to two-shot you. So you got to be very careful around it due to how much high of a damage source it is. So you tend to use a Graveseer almost entirely to counter the enemy's Graveseer. There's only 3 battles, and both the first battle and the final battle will have a Graveseer on it. So you'll need that as a basically anti-Graveseer by using your Graveseer. And other than that, the last thing we have is the Assassin class, since there's not really any teams to really show for Wednesday. And technically we showed the team for Friday because as far as Vault event is concerned, the Rowan team I was just running at the beginning of the team of the video is what you end up using for it. But anyways, lastly, Black Manacle into triple Marilith if you have it. Easy. You just keep spamming Marilith. It has +3 red, so you get Marilith up super quick. Still uses Archmages, so you can also go manually into Black Manacle. And yeah, if you're just running the free battles, even if you're going all the way, that would easily be able to crush through the entirety of the class event. I don't really advise spending any gems towards a class event. It's one of the worst events to ever spend gems on, so do be wary of that. But anyways, that's the full breakdown. If you guys still have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Don't forget, the arena event is this Wednesday and only this Wednesday. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday is the Vault event. So we got a lot of things to go grind for. Basically 4 of the next 5 days are all super heavy grind days if you have the time. So definitely worth considering. Though if you do miss the arena event this Wednesday, do keep in mind a weekend-long one will be available the weekend of Halloween, unless they're going to be changing it. But as it currently stands, it looks like it's going to be the weekend of Halloween. It'll be the first ever 3-day version of it rather than a 1-day. So you'll be able to grind quite a bit then, and most people will probably have free time then since it's the weekend, and some people might have off for Halloween. Who knows? But anyways, I will catch you guys later. Thank you so much for stopping by, and if you want to stop by for more, we do stream every single night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the YouTube channel. And tonight, of course, we'll be going over the Crypt faction, and tomorrow we'll be heavily going over the new game mode. Anyways, guys, I will catch you guys later. Goodbye, everyone, and thanks for watching.